Okay, so in this video, we're going to continue working on Google Slides animations, but we are going to discuss how to turn our animation into a comic as opposed to just, images that we see on the screen. So we want to actually create dialogue. Now it's a comic and not a cartoon because it's not going to speak, all right? It will just be the dialogue that flashes up on the screen. So if you can think of the slides as the little boxes within the comic strip or the comic book or the graphic novel that you might be familiar with. All right. So a couple of things on my screen. One thing you might notice these guides, okay? The reason why I put these guides on is because I wanted to animate my title, and when my title got to the center, I wanted it to stop. So I put on my guide. So you can activate your guides by right-clicking either on the top guide or the side guide or the top guide by making sure you click show guides. You can add your own guides. So if you you can add a horizontal guide or you can add a vertical guide and it would just add your guide. You can also delete guides by right clicking on them and clicking delete guide. If you want to have the guide sometimes, but not always, you can always turn it off and then turn it back on. Okay. So I wanted the guide, but I'm going to turn it off now. Okay. So I already started my comic just so it would be ready to go. I've also already published my animation to the web. So I've already published it to the web and gotten my link and taken out the 0 in the 1000 that is at the end so that my comic would move on its own. I have it paused. So then I could play my comic and make sure that it looked the way that I wanted it to look. Okay. Excuse me. So I already did my title. So I told you I animated my title. Another cool thing is that you can add a subtitle just as like a boom. Like it doesn't have to be animated. So Sam and Roger, I'll explain in a second, is the title. And then so as we're coming through, it comes up and then boom, subtitle. And then the subtitle will stay up for 10 seconds or 10 slides as well so that people have time to read it. All right. Now I've already created an animation and so I'm using similar characters. I'll show you that animation in a second. So this is my first scene. It'll probably be my only scene. I have had people in the past who will create one scene with one background and then transition to another scene just by changing the background. You move the characters from the screen, change the background, and now they're in a completely new place. So it depends on how long and how complicated your story is. Okay. So I have Sam and Roger here. These are my fish. All right. And I just slowly animated them coming onto the screen. Now, when we show this animation, you're going to notice that Sam and Roger don't move in a straight line. They are fish, right? So they're swimming and nobody has the ability to swim just completely straight. I mean, maybe a shark if it was like in attack mode, but so the fish kind of like swim and it might be a little erratic. So I just use my arrow keys to slowly move each of my characters onto the screen and then have them slowly move either up or down or forward. Okay. So once you've gotten to a place where you're like, somebody should talk, right? This is where you're going to come up into your shapes. Okay. So in your shapes, you have a category called callouts. Now you have a couple of options, right? You can decide what kind of dialogue box you want. So there are 3 different types of dialogue or callouts as they're referred to. All right. There's also a thought bubble. So if you wanted your character to think something that you wanted the audience to know about, then you could use the cloud call out, all right, as they call it, or I think of it as like a thought bubble. All right. So I'm just going to pick a call out. I'm going to use the oval one just because they're fish and they're underwater and it kind of looks like a little like air bubble. All right. Now, one thing I want to keep in mind is that this fish is not going to just stay still while he's talking. Okay. So not only do I want to put put in my speech bubble because I want him to start talking. All right. But I'm also going to move him a little bit. All right. So I'll move him a little bit so that he's not looking like he's just standing still, right? This would be important for any kind of animal that you might choose. With humans, they might stand still while they're talking, right? So I also want to just make my speech bubble here a little bit bigger because I want this all to fit on one line because it's a very short sentence. And I'm also going to use the same fonts that I used at the beginning. So for my title, I used Berkshire Swash, like swashbuckler. And I also used Book Antique. So I'm going to use Book Antique for this. You could also do different fonts for different characters. The other cool thing about these shapes is that you can recolor them. So if I wanted my speech bubble to look a little bit more like it was underwater, I could change it to blue, right? So now that I've created that first one, right, now I have to make sure that I complete at least, that's a short sentence, so at least 5 to 10 more slides so that people have time to read that. Okay. Now, again, like I said, Sam is not going to just sit still while he's speaking. He's a fish. He's floating, right? So there's a couple of things. I could just continue to move Sam, right? Or I could group him together with his speech bubble, right? Arrange, group, or you can use your shortcut, Control-Alt-G. You can also right click and it would say group, but now it says ungroup because I've already grouped it. Right. And now when I move Sam, his speech bubble will move with him. All right. Now you want to be careful with this because if it's a lot of text and it moves a lot, it could be hard to read. So just keep watching your comic and making sure that everything is good. I also don't want to forget, because I'm working on Sam, that I still need to move Roger, right? So I'll make sure that Roger moves as well, all right? So I'll continue in this way for the duration of my story. So as I go through, right? So let's just, for example's sake, say that I've pasted this and I've moved Sam and Roger, 10 times. All right. So now Sam is not going to talk anymore. Now Roger's going to talk. So first thing first, ungroup. Now Sam's not going to talk over Roger. So I can just get rid of Sam's speech bubble. All right. Another thing I could do is I could just move the speech bubble over to Roger. So I can play around with the placement of the little thing, right? And then I can just change his name to Roger, but maybe I want to make it a little bit more interesting, right? And so I just continue in that fashion. And I would do the same thing here. I can group Roger to his speech bubble, right? And then I can move him and his speech bubble as much as I want to. Don't forget to move Sam, right? And I would then again continue moving them and copying and pasting the slide. I'm not going to move them right now for time's sake, all right? But once I'm satisfied, right? And I would continue the dialogue, all right? I'll show you another example in 1 second. So then what I want to do now is I want to make sure I come here and refresh. And now I can watch what I've made of my comic so far. So there's Sam, there's Roger, right? And then it's going to start over. So I would obviously continue in that fashion. So this is another animation that I had created that also stars Sam and Roger. I've actually decided that this is going to become a series, so I'm going to change these title slides. But you can see here, I've made the title a little bit fancy, so you can also use the different ribbons and stuff that they have under the callouts. So they have these different ribbons, all right? They also have these different like stars. So like if it like one character, was like, kicked another character, you could put up like the pow, like the old comic books, like the old superhero comics did, so you can have a lot of fun with this. All right. You also have banners. I've had students like attach like the little weave to, make it look like it's attached to a plane and it like flies across the screen, like when you're at the Jersey Shore. Right. So you can have a lot of fun with customizing, and obviously any of those shapes, I changed the color of it to make it match my background. I'm also thinking about adjusting this now to make it a Sam and Roger adventure and adding a subtitle. For this one is the sinking boat, but I just wanted to show you the so a couple of things. So the boat sinks, and then I actually animated it to rest on the bottom of the ocean, just like it would in real life. The only problem with this animation when I originally created it, and this is why I told you to make sure that you're moving your characters while they're talking, is because when Sam and Roger speak in this comic, they don't move. See how they're very stagnant? So even though the dialogue is changing, all right, they're just standing still, and it's not very good to look at. But we can look at the original version, and you can see how many slides it takes because of all that dialogue. So here's what the sinking boat looks like. And that's the end. So you can see it doesn't have to be anything too complicated. You can have a ton of fun with this. The sky is the limit. Your characters can be anything, any kind of animal. I recommend that when you are searching for images that you search for either clipboard or cartoon. So if I type in fish, I'm going to get some pictures of real fish, but you might get a cartoony looking fish. If you're going to use real objects and combine them together with fake objects, like clip art objects, that's always fun and interesting to look at. You also want to make sure that when you get images, that you're looking for images that don't have backgrounds or images that are PNG. Have fun.